Is inequality a moral problem? Well, the parable of the talents in the Bible seems to make it clear that it is not. In this parable, God portrays himself as someone who takes the little that one person has and gives it to the one who has much due to the way they stewarded what was given. There's not so much as a hint of moral apprehension over this fact. So long as everyone is treated with the same standard, there's nothing to correct. And the takeaway from this story is that everyone should be diligent to make the right choices with whatever measure of ability you have been given. Do that, and what you have will grow. Our current society allows for very, very broad discrepancies in wealth and influence. I think the proper way to think about this is to consider an insight spoken by the great Thomas Sowell. He implies that in life, or in politics, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. The trade-off constraint flies in the face of the utopian vision. In utopia, all the good things are maximized at the same time. But in real life, it is often the case that one good thing can only be maximized at the expense of other good things. The question then remains, what are the benefits of society where significant inequality is allowed? To answer this question, we should examine how one becomes fabulously wealthy and influential in the first place. In a society free from coercion, a person must offer something of value in order to obtain wealth or influence. This generally means that people with enormous wealth and influence obtain that wealth and influence by offering something of value to society more broadly. Take John D. Rockefeller, for example. He became the richest man, or one of the richest men to ever live, by refining oil. Prior to Rockefeller, men went on dangerous and expensive whaling expeditions to kill whales and extract the oil from their cranial chamber. It was bloody, gruesome, hard work, not to mention the fact that the quantity of oil obtained made the oil a scarce resource and therefore expensive. When Rockefeller figured out how to refine and transport oil in an efficient way, he made fuel cheap and abundant and raised the standard of living for nearly everyone in the free world. In other words, he gave to society more than society ever gave to him. For anyone who obtains their wealth this way, this is precisely the trade-off. We have one person who towers above most people with respect to wealth and influence, but our standard of living as a whole takes quantum leaps forward. It should also be noted that it is the product of covetousness that causes us to think that these people who produce these things that make them wealthy and influential necessarily have a better life. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I would not prefer their lives. Just as there are trade-offs in society with respect to politics and culture, there are also trade-offs with respect to ability, wealth, beauty, and any other typically coveted attribute. It isn't obvious to me at all that most beautiful people, for example, have better marriages, or that the wealthy have less to worry about. Of course, they may have fewer financial problems, but they have problems that you could not and would not even be able to consider. The husbands of the most beautiful women in the world often have mistresses and failed marriages into the double digits. People who struggle with depression and anxiety are often the ones with the most wealth and influence. Yes, they get rich by improving everyone else's life, but their lives in general are not necessarily qualitatively better. It is clear, however, that these people who pave the way for these quantum leaps have exceptional abilities. They aren't successful by chance, but when we demonize them, attempt to suppress their ability to create because of envy, or rob them of their ability to enjoy the fruits of their labor, what are we actually doing? We are actually hurting the very people who are capable of creating the medicine that saves our lives, the cars that are safer, or the not yet thought of product that will allow you to do something you would never have been able to do without it. Far from being angry, envious, and resentful of their success, we need a society that finds them and props them up. Their success is our success. They have no reason to boast in their own ability because it was given to them by God. Although we all have different abilities, we are all equal in His sight.
Hey, you know what? If you stuck around this long, you obviously like my content. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Just go ahead and do it. I'll wait. Matter of fact, go ahead and hit that like button as well. Just go. I appreciate that.